Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now. Let's dive into a rumor that's been buzzing around the NFL circles lately, and it's got the potential to shake up the entire NFC East. There's talk about a possible blockbuster trade involving none other than Myles Garrett, the star pass rusher from the Cleveland Browns, being traded to the Washington Commanders. Yes, you heard that right. It's just a rumor at this stage, but the implications are enormous. And for us Commanders fans, it's something worth paying attention to. The NFL landscape is always changing, and this could be a game changer for Washington, especially as they look to bolster their defense and aim for that elusive Super Bowl. Let's set the scene. The Browns, currently sitting at a 2-7 record this season, are in a rebuilding phase. They've got a cap space of around $19 million, which is enough to make some moves, but with a team that's been struggling, especially after a roller coaster ride with Deshaun Watson, they're reportedly considering trading away some of their core assets to reset and focus on the future. And Myles Garrett, despite his stellar play, might be on the trading block, with the Browns looking to gather draft capital and young talent. Now here's where it gets interesting for us. The buzz suggests the Browns might be willing to send Garrett to Washington in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2027 NFL Draft. That's a long-term move, but one that could pay off big if Garrett finds a new home and revives his prime years. Why would the Commanders be interested? Well, for starters, adding Myles Garrett to the front four would be like unleashing a hurricane on opposing quarterbacks. The guy is a game wrecker, a true disruptor, and he would instantly elevate Washington's pass rush to a whole new level. Currently, the Commanders have registered around 22 sacks this season, but adding Garrett, who has a career total of 98 sacks and is known for his relentless pressure, could push that number significantly higher. Imagine a front four with Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne, and Garrett all coming at quarterbacks with relentless force. It would be a nightmare for offenses and a massive boost for our defense. And speaking of Garrett's production, he's been nothing short of phenomenal when healthy. In 2025, he played just 9 games but managed to rack up 12 sacks, making him the top edge rusher on the team and among the best in the league. His pressures are consistently high, with 28 in that season and a PFF grade of 90. Which ranks him as one of the top defensive ends. His win rate is around 24%, and he's proven to be a consistent force, even when faced with double teams or tight blocking schemes. His ability to get after the quarterback and collapse the pocket is what makes him such a coveted player, even with some injury setbacks like a wrist injury in Week 2. But overall, Garrett's health has been manageable, and he's shown that when he's on the field, he makes a difference. Now, the potential impact on the Commanders is huge. With Garrett, the team could add around 14 more sacks this season, which would bring their total to well over 36, making their pass rush one of the most feared in the league. That kind of pressure would also open up opportunities for Jonathan Allen and other defensive linemen to shine, creating a domino effect that would make Washington's defense a nightmare for any quarterback. Plus, the addition of Garrett could boost the team's win rate on the edges by around 22% and reduce the points allowed per game by about 5. That's the kind of change that can push a team from good to elite, especially when combined with other defensive improvements and the leadership of Jack Del Rio. But what about the Browns? Well, they're motivated to make moves that prepare them for a future without Garrett. They're looking to clear cap space and develop younger players, especially on defense. The current ranking for their defense is around 14th in EPA per pass, which isn't terrible but isn't great either. They're in a bit of a limbo, trying to find their identity after losing some key pieces. A trade for a future first-round pick would give them the flexibility to rebuild and focus on developing their younger talent, even if it means parting ways with a player of Garrett's caliber. Now, let's talk about the odds. The sports books have shifted quite a bit, with the chances of Garrett ending up in Washington now at around plus 12-0, which is surprisingly high considering the buzz. But some experts are skeptical, pointing out that the Browns might hesitate to part with such a key player unless the offer is compelling enough. Plus, the Browns might be cautious about weakening their defense too much, especially since they still have some pieces that could help them compete in the near future. But if the trade does happen, it could be one of those moves that define the balance of power in the NFC East for years to come. For the Commanders, adding Garrett isn't just about boosting the pass rush. It's about creating a dominant duo with Jonathan Allen, reminiscent of the Watt brothers' impact on the Steelers. A Garrett-Allen pairing would be a nightmare for offenses, forcing quarterbacks to hurry their throws and making life easier for the secondary. It would also send a message that Washington is serious about contending and building a championship-caliber defense. The team's Super Bowl odds could also see a significant boost, from around plus 15, 0 to as low as plus 5, 0 if they land someone like Garrett. That's a massive jump, and it shows how much of a difference a top-tier pass rusher can make in the postseason. Of course, all of this hinges on a lot of factors, but the potential is undeniable. The Commanders are at a crossroads, and adding a player like Myles Garrett could be the move that cements their status as playoff contenders and possibly Super Bowl favorites. It's an exciting time to be a Washington fan, and while we have to wait for official confirmation, the rumors alone are enough to give us hope and energy for the stretch run. The team has been showing resilience and growth, and with a little extra firepower on defense, they could really take the next step. So as we watch this story unfold, it's crucial to keep our eyes on what happens before the trade deadline. The NFL is unpredictable, and sometimes the biggest moves happen right before our eyes. If Washington can pull this off, it would be a statement to the league. They're here to compete and to win. The fans are already dreaming of a defense that strikes fear into opponents, of Myles Garrett terrorizing quarterbacks in FedEx Field, and of the team climbing back into the Super Bowl conversation. It's all possible, but it requires bold moves, and right now, the buzz is all about Garrett and the Commanders. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. Let's keep the energy high and the passion alive, because this season, anything is possible.